One everyone! Welcome back to the channel. I'm 11. I'm a puppy girl who escaped from the lab just to see you. And today we're watching part 2 of Oversimplified's The Second Punic War. I've been really excited for this one because the first part was so good and we left it at a really good point where Hannibal finally reaches Italy after crossing the Alps with the elephants. So I've been super excited to see what happens next, especially because some of you guys have been dropping so many teasers in the comments. I hope you enjoy. If you do, write 11 in the comments. 11. A lot of you didn't know how to spell it. It's W-A-N. 11. Okay. This is a sponsor I don't know, I think. Is it
This
a
video was made possible
VPN?
by Incogni. Use code Oversimplified in the link below for an exclusive 60% off an annual Incogni plan. Also, make sure to grab our Roman console YouTube.
Oh, you guys will tell me about the Bucket episode.
Don't
I have to watch that
mention it
too.
a third time, or I'll you know what.
Oh, you're gonna marry my mom?
Hannibal
I mean, that's okay. My mom's single actually, so I would like her to have a nice partner.
army had survived its famous crossing of the Alps, and he was now in Italy. With Hannibal's arrival, the Roman consul Scipio hit the ground running. In typical Roman fashion, he marched his army straight at the enemy, and Hannibal
I guess you
began
gotta
preparing
strike before
for
it's
his
too
first
late.
combat with Rome.
I would attack immediately. You can't let him get ready and recruit too many people. I guess I don't know if they know that that's what Hannibal's up to.
On Italian soil. Before the battle, Hannibal wanted to inspire his men, so he staged a gladiatorial death match between captured Celt prisoners.
That would
with
be
the
very
winner getting
motivating.
prizes and freedom. He then explained that the whole thing was a metaphor. A metaphor? For what? You! These warriors are you! You're trapped in Italy with no escape. Your only choice now is to fight and win. What about the dead guy? That's you if you don't win. And the prizes? That's what you stand to gain by winning. And the fact that I've soiled myself in all this excitement? No, that's not part of the metaphor. Okay.
I mean, you might soil yourself in battle. I've heard emotions run high. I suppose. I know, I feel like on one hand, it does kind of show what there's to win and lose in combat. On the other hand, I feel like these people know, you know?
Smashed in the head of a goat. Again, for inspiration.
Inspirational.
Scipio,
We
on the
don't
other
do that
hand,
anymore
now
nowadays.
arriving in the area,
No one-
opted for the more classical.
No wonder that people don't work as hard anymore. It's not TikTok. It's not those pesky screens. It's because we stopped smashing goat heads in with big rocks.
route of a rousing pre-battle speech. Look at them, men. Weak, starved by the Alps, while we are the strongest military in the world. This will be easy, like 10,000 horse-sized ducks fighting a baby-sized baby. It'll be
Wow.
like Mike Tyson in his prime, kicking a baby. A tug of war between 10 sumo
They don't know
wrestlers
who
and,
that is. Oh, what
help me
sumo
out here,
wrestlers
Rob.
are,
A baby,
probably.
sir? Yes, that's it. A baby. The point is, there is absolutely no possible way we could lose a battle this easy.
They're totally gonna lose, aren't they?
So, if everybody's ready, on my mark,
They didn't smash in that goat head. They didn't prepare.
the Battle of Ticinus was over almost as
Ticinus.
soon as it had begun, as the Romans found themselves completely outmatched by Hannibal's famed lightning-fast Numidian cavalry, a key element in Hannibal's devastating double envelopment tactics.
So I've been trying to pause, but my mouse is being laggy. I don't know why Ticinus. In my mind, that sounds like some place that would be in Switzerland now. Did those borders? It sounds like Ticino, which is a place in Switzerland. It sounds like. Doesn't it? I know, maybe it's not related.
In the chaos, Scipio was wounded. Thankfully, according to some ancient writers, his handsome 17-year-old son, Scipio the Younger, saw his father fall. Scipio the Younger supposedly saved his father, and in the process, earned himself a lot of daddy's
That's a good
kisses.
son.
The Romans ended up fleeing the area, destroying the bridge behind them, as they went. For a nation so overtly confident in victory, believing Hannibal to be an easy kill, the Romans found themselves running away with their tail between their legs.
Hannibal being an easy kill is really funny, considering this guy was literally bred and raised to kill Romans specifically.
It was humiliating. And you know who thought so as well? The Celts. They began flocking to Hannibal's side, just as
Yeah, that would
he'd
be
hoped.
inspiring.
Even Celtic troops fighting for Rome in the Roman camp began to
Placentia?
reconsider.
That's not a
Man,
good place
I'm
name.
thinking we should try to join Hannibal. I hear you. Maybe we should bring him a gift. What do you think he'd like?
Probably dead Roman soldiers? He seems like the kind of guy who would like that. We can smash in their heads with a rock.
Oh, I know. Hey, Hannibal. We want to join your side, and we brought you a present. A gift? For me? I hope it's Roman heads.
That's what I said!
Oh, please be Roman heads.
That's what I said! I know him so
Running away from
well!
Hannibal was humiliating enough, but having dozens of Romans beheaded in the night, now that's embarrassing. Ticinus
so
had been a
embarrassing.
relatively small battle, but the psychological impact it had early on was huge, and it was only just a taste of what Hannibal was capable of.
No one wants to get beaten by the underdog when you were sure you're gonna win. That sucks.
Despite the shocking initial loss, however, Rome still didn't seem to fully understand the danger posed by the monster now loose in their territory. The Senate was full of excuses. It's those traitorous Celts. That's why we lost. Yeah, and it was a cavalry battle. Wait until Hannibal faces our almighty legions. And our consul was bald. Once he faces our other fully follicled consul, then he'll really pee his pants. That other consul, Longus, had been in the south all this
Oh wow,
time,
he's really
preparing
far
to
away.
invade Africa. He had seen some success, even capturing Malta. But then he heard the news. Hannibal's in Italy? And I'm being ordered home?
That's quite the long trip
But I was
home,
gonna be the
isn't
big
it?
boy. I was gonna invade Carthage and win the war. Well, you can be a big boy at home. No! Does somebody need a nap, sir? No! 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 And so Longus brought...
I guess we're giving up on the idea of attacking Carthage now? I was kinda curious what would happen if they did that. Considering, I guess, the biggest defenses are currently not there. Though maybe Carthage still has a notable army over there without Hannibal too. I don't know what's going on there.
his army
I
on
wasn't
a long
there.
journey north. When he arrived in the area to decisively neutralize Hannibal, the two consuls joined their forces together, creating a double consular army. But the two consuls weren't exactly
How many
on the
consuls
same
are
page.
there?
Having a nice rest there, old man? I'm wounded, Longus. Pathetic. You don't understand. He's more dangerous than we thought. Maybe for you. Whoops. Listen, we can't just march straight at him like we normally do. We need to train our men through the winter, and we'll try again in spring. Sorry, I don't take advice from a bowling ball. Hey! I'll kick your ass, Longus. Any day now. I'm coming! Just you wait. Oh, Scipio, you feeble old man. Scipio was apparently quite cautious after his recent encounter with Hannibal, while Longus, typically
that
Roman,
makes sense.
couldn't wait to give Hannibal a swirly. So who would get their way? Well, when two consuls joined their forces, it turned out the Romans had an interesting system in place. They would each take turns being the one in charge. Consul 1 would lead one day, then Consul 2 the next, back and
That must have been so incredibly confusing and nonsensical. What a terrible idea.
forth, back and forth. As you can imagine, when the two consuls didn't agree, things didn't go so well. In this case, due to Scipio's injury, Longus probably assumed even more command than normal. Hannibal had Celtic spies in the Roman camp. He fully understood the Roman system and Longus's hot-headed nature,
Manapsani.
and he knew he could exploit it. For goodness sake! What's wrong, sir? I'm trying to order some pizza, but I keep getting fed all these personalized ads about
It's
being
the
a
ad
hothead.
spot as the
I'm not a
sponsor.
hothead, am
So it's
I?
not a
No,
VPN,
sir.
I guess.
Look at this. Butt insurance? Who would buy butt insurance? Yeah, that sounds really stupid. Sir,
I was
it seems
hoping
like a
this
lot
guy
of
would
data
make a
brokers have
comeback.
collected data
I
on
kinda
you. They
censored
could
him
sell
with my
that
head,
data
I'm
to Hannibal.
sorry.
What? But don't worry, because you can get rid of that data with today's wonderful sponsor, Incogni. I've been
Hooray!
getting at you for some time to protect your personal data online, but you're a nimwit. aren't you? You didn't do it.
What the heck?
Did you? Typical. And now would you look at that? Tons of data brokers have collected a heck of a
What
lot
the
of your
heck?
personal data.
I'm a
and might
VTuber.
sell
My
it to
data is
third
so
parties
secure.
Like advertisers or insurance companies without you even knowing. Ever wonder where Sally from the Butt Insurance Company got your name, number,
I thought she just
address,
liked
social
me.
security number, and favorite color from?
I thought she was
Probably a
hitting on
dirty
me.
data broker. We could painstakingly contact the hundreds of brokers that have our data and politely ask them to delete it. That process would only take the average human about 3,000 years. And that's why you need Incogni. I was shocked to find how many data brokers Incogni had tracked, potentially selling my data.
I've never
But
met
all
someone who's a data broker. I wonder what kind of job that is. I wonder how you even become that.
I had to do was create an Incogni account, give them permission to work on my behalf, then sit back and let them do all the hard work for me. And since these data brokers don't stop there, Incogni will continuously work to keep my data safe with an annual plan. So if you want to protect your personal
I
data
do
too,
see
go to Incogni.com
the use of this company in this day and
/oversimplified
age.
to get an exclusive 60% off an annual Incogni plan. That's Incogni.com/oversimplified. And as always, you'll be supporting my channel. So thank you. Now, where were we? Oh yeah. Roman heads, a double consular army, and a hothead. Hannibal needed to keep smashing the Romans in battle in order to maintain the loyalty of the Celts. And so he was eager to fight another battle.
Makes
The
sense, gotta
combined
keep the
Roman
momentum
force
going.
possibly outnumbered him, so he carefully crafted a clever trap, and he made sure to spring it while Longus was still in charge.
Men are smaller and cold, stupid cold. Who wants a revolution? No breakfast like a serial killer, lol. Dude, so cool. What a wonderful time to be alive. Punish them severely. Good scheming, boys.
The plan began with his army getting an early night's sleep. All right, boys.
Oh my gosh, he's
time
playing
for
on his
lights out.
DS.
Sorry, but we got a big day ahead of us. Tomorrow, we're gonna massacre the Romans. Good
Yippee!
night, boys. Dream of revenge.
Yippee! My mother has told me I'm allowed to play Fortnite and massacre the Romans. Now I'm playing Fortnite and massacring the Romans. Yippee!
Gorzog, send out the cavalry.
Okay, what the hell is he doing
That
here?
night, Hannibal's Numidian cavalry made their way over to the Roman camp, arriving just before dawn. Hey, Romans! Wakey, wakey! What's going on? Hey, Longus, your butt smells like a butt.
No way.
It does not! Scipio, awaken the troops! Longus, these playground insults are clearly meant to lure you out. Well, it's working! Send out the troops. Longus, it's clearly a trap, and I'm falling for it. Send out the troops. Hey
It's
guys,
good to be self-aware.
you're heading out for battle. What? But we haven't had breakfast. We're skipping breakfast.
It's the most important meal of the day.
Out of camp, the Numidians began luring them back to the Carthaginian camp, where these gentle angels were just awakening from their slumber. Eat up, boys. We're having pancakes.
Wow.
While the Carthaginians were enjoying their hearty breakfast, the starving Romans were still on their way.
I wonder how
Hurry up.
far apart the camps are. It seems like it's quite the trek.
We have to catch those Numidians. Hey, why have you stopped marching? Longus, there's a freezing river in front of us. Well, get your gluteus
In
maximus
armor?
in the water.
In winter? They're gonna drown.
All right,
Like his
boys, time
dad.
to lather up. This oil will insulate you from the cold. It also
Huh.
smells like lavender.
Does that work?
There's
Maybe I should do that in winter.
the Carthaginian camp. Get ready to fight, men. Sir, I think the water from the river is beginning to ice over. I can't move. Oh, I'm sorry. You thought war would be fun? Sitting around a nice hot campfire playing Truth or Dare with your friends? Welcome to the real world! Truth, who do you like? Sharon? Hey,
I see.
look, guys.
I
The
see.
Romans
Boys are just like girls. I see.
are here. Having perfectly orchestrated events so that his enemy was cold, tired, and hungry, while his men were well rested and covered in oil. When the two sides
I mean,
engaged one
being
another,
covered in
the
oil is the
Romans
most important.
were in no
Does that not make you really flammable though?
conditioned to fight. And the cherry on top? The previous night, Hannibal had sent out an elite force of men led by his brother to go and hide behind a bush. They suddenly sprung out, encircling the exhausted Romans, who were then cut to pieces. Once again, Hannibal's superior cavalry and double envelopment tactics had flummoxed the Romans.
And
But the
elephant.
keyword at Trebia was control. Hannibal used his intel on the enemy and the environment of the battlefield to carefully control the conditions of battle, creating lots of little advantages for himself that paved the way to success. And
That's
concealing
really
troops for an ambush.
impressive.
All of these things are what make Hannibal the genius he's remembered as today. As for Longus, he managed to escape the battlefield with a small number of troops. Disgraced, he didn't want the Senate to find out what had happened, and he began
he didn't
obscuring
listen to
communications
Scipio.
back to Rome. Longus, where have you been?
He's
We've been looking
lying.
for you. Nowhere in particular. Longus, 30,000 men are missing. Do you know where they are? They're taking a bath. 30,000 men? All in a bath? Yes.
5 feet apart because they're not gay.
Longus, what's under that rug? Aurora Borealis? Aurora Borealis?
This time of year, localized entirely under
Well,
your
that's my
back.
consulship over. Good luck with Hannibal. Bye. Trebia had been a disaster for the Romans. And as even more Celts began flocking to Hannibal, Rome largely lost its control over Cisalpine Gaul. In Rome, complacency turned to alarm. Hannibal had outwitted them on their own soil and inflicted a costly defeat. But with that, Scipio and Longus's terms as consul were over. They were replaced with 2 new consuls, Servilius and Flaminius. The Romans may now have begun to realize the trouble they were in and the genius Hannibal had shown in invading Italy. The Romans had expected to be the ones controlling this war. Remember, they thought they were going to invade Carthage. Now their plans lay in ruins, and they were levying 11 new legions to deal with the threat. Hannibal
Yeah,
had
they were caught
redefined the
completely unaware, which is a bad situation to be
war.
in.
But Hannibal had a little problem of his own. Things had gone well so far, but the Celts were notoriously fickle, and Hannibal needed to ensure he maintained their alliance and his base of support in Italy.
They did flip on the Romans, so I guess they could flip back. They seemed like they were acting in an opportunistic way in that war. So if the Romans start winning, I could see the Celts switching back.
Any Celts he captured fighting for Rome, he treated extremely well and allowed them to return to their homes. But the longer he hung around in their territory, eating all their food and leaving beard trimmings in their sinks, the more resentful they may become. They wanted to go south and plunder some Roman booty, and Hannibal also hoped to sway Rome's other Italian allies in the south to his side. So from here, the path was clear. Hannibal had to move south. Just one problem. There were 2 main routes Hannibal could take to
More
move south.
mountains.
And wouldn't you know it, that's exactly where the 2 new Roman consuls had taken fortified position.
How many of those are there? I feel like every 5 minutes there's a new consul.
If Hannibal tried to move on them, he'd be fighting from a disadvantaged position and could be bottled in. There is a third option. Ooh, tell me.
The
We could
sea?
move through this vast impassable marshland
marshland.
flooded with dirty, stinky, disease-infested water that at times would come up to our necks. But there's no way we would attempt that, right? That'd
He's
be
totally
crazy,
gonna do it.
right?
This is the guy who went over the Alps. He's totally gonna do it.
Hannibal? Hannibal's 4-day trek across the Arno marshlands was hell on earth.
4 days, I
Almost
see.
as crazy as when he crossed the Alps. Imagine 3 full days, unable to sit or lie down, because there's nowhere to sit or lie down. Meaning 4 full days
I didn't know
without
Italy had a
sleep,
marsh like
slogging
that.
through heavy mud. You contract cholera. Your foot falls off.
So I'm not sure. I guess I don't know if the climate has changed and it's still there, but I was unaware of the Italian marshes.
And Jim Bob directly in front of you won't stop pooping in your path. In fact, everybody's pooping in your path. Some delirious, sleepless men
The
would
color,
see
I will
clumps
do
of
that to
mud
you.
and say, man, I could just sink into that. And then they would. When pack animals died, it gave nearby men a chance to rest, but only for a few moments before they were whipped back into line. Even Hannibal himself couldn't escape the torture of it. Hey Hannibal, if we see a Starbucks, can we stop? I need to take a leak.
Ow!
What? Geez, Hannibal, looks like you picked up a nasty eye infection.
Oh no.
Normally for this sort of thing, we just wash it out with some clean water. But as you can see, water everywhere, but it's full of Jim Bob's poop. No worries, Doc. I'll just take care of it myself.
Okay, I guess that would work. I mean,
That'll be $3,000. When the now possibly one-eyed
I would recommend not trying this at home. DIY eye surgery is not recommended. That's crazy!
Hannibal and his army emerged from the swamp. They were shattered, but he had just managed to slip 50,000 men right past the Romans
so many.
into rich Etrurian lands, where he could replenish his supplies, and his Celt allies could go crazy, securing Roman loot and booty.
Oh,
As
not this
fields
guy
and villages
again.
went up in
He didn't get
flames,
booty
one
insurance.
Roman consul couldn't help but notice the hot-headed Flaminius, feeling it was his
It's kinda in the name, isn't it?
responsibility to protect these lands, rather than waiting for his co-consul to come join him, immediately left to go chase Hannibal. Now, this Flaminius was an interesting character. He was what the Romans called a new man. He came from the lower plebeian classes of Roman society, and as a result, he reportedly had kind of a screw-you attitude to the establishment, and a big old arrogant chip on his shoulder.
I
Picture
see.
Sid Vicious wearing a toga. That's Flaminius. And Hannibal, thanks to his spies, knew everything. Just as with Longus, Hannibal knew Flaminius was just the kind of man he could lure into a trap. Hannibal led Flaminius to the entrance of a narrow pass along the north shore of Lake Trasimene. Flaminius watched as Hannibal's army entered the pass. I've done it. I've spotted the enemy. Sir? That big follow us sign seems kind of like they're trying to lure you in. Yes, Gareth, and I'm taking the bait. Sir.
The Roman attitude to just walking headfirst into traps is kinda crazy. I guess despite their defeats, I feel like because every time it's a new consul getting defeated and then they get replaced or their term is up, people don't get to learn from their mistakes. So they just think, oh, it's not like because Hannibal did this or the terrain this. They just think, oh, well, it's because the other guy sucked, but I can do it better.
This really seems like a trap. Yes, Gareth, and I'm falling for it. Daylight was fading, so for now, the Romans set up camp. The two armies encamped across the lake from one another, and night fell over the two camps. In the morning, Flaminius would catch up to Hannibal, and he would be the hero of Rome. For now, the Romans got nice and comfy in their beds. Good night, Flaminius. Good night, Rome. Good evening, Hannibal. During the night, Hannibal ordered total stealth. As
Great
tens of
poster.
thousands of troops scaled the wooded hills above the pass.
I really wonder when you're moving this number of people, how stealthy could you possibly be? I know, obviously these wars kind of took place over such vast amounts of space, you couldn't possibly see it all. But I'm always wondering, like the idea of them sneaking past. Yeah, I didn't know, it's kind of crazy to me.
Completely undetected by Rome's scouts. Let's go, girls. Flaminius
Let's
took
go,
off
girls.
across the
Da,
lake shore
da, da,
to try
da,
to
da,
catch
da.
Hannibal. As he did, even the weather seemed to be on Hannibal's side. A thick fog rose from the surface of the lake, obscuring visibility. Look at this! This is perfect! The mist will obscure our approach. Hannibal will never see me coming. Sir? Why does it sound like 50,000 Carthaginians are charging down the hill towards us? You mean 50,000 Carthaginians are charging right into my trap?
I don't know why this reminds me of these ASMR videos where like, POV, your Roman soldier and 50,000 Carthaginians are storming down the hill towards you. And it would sound like this.
Themselves completely hemmed in on all sides, with zero visibility in the fog. The fighting was terrifying and chaotic. Troops were pushed into the lake in their heavy armor, where they were either cut down or drowned. And Flaminius, who likely stood out like a sore thumb in his consul attire, caught the attention of one Celt warrior. with his head possibly swirling with thoughts of how the Romans had decimated his homeland. According to the ancient writers, this Celt took his chance.
Damn! This is crazier than an action movie.
In the 3-hour-long massacre, 15,000 Romans were killed, and an equal number captured.
Wow!
An entire army completely wiped
Yeah, that's
out,
almost
along
everyone.
with their consul. During the battle, the Roman vanguard had managed to break through at the front and climbed the hill above the fog. When the mist cleared, what they saw was a blood-red lake and a sea of Roman bodies.
That in the fog must be a crazy image. That must be so demoralizing.
Worse yet, when the other consuls sent cavalry to try to aid Flaminius's doomed legions, they too
Too
were
late.
caught and defeated. A
They're too
double
late.
disaster. Rome went into a frenzy.
He's getting pretty
For the
close to
second
Rome,
time,
actually.
Hannibal had completely decimated an entire Roman army. Romans were dying by the tens of thousands. Common citizens began flocking to the city for safety. Women waited by the city gates in tears, hoping to hear news of loved ones. This one man, having just led his battered army across the Alps the previous year, now stood less than 100 miles from
That's what
Rome.
I was thinking on
To
the map.
this point, he had been a problem. Now, Hannibal was a crisis. And in a crisis, Rome took desperate measures. They actually had a system in place when dealing with an emergency of this magnitude.
Is the system gonna suck like the two-console system, which absolutely sucked?
Would forgo their two-console power-sharing system and instead temporarily give one man near total power and authority.
Okay, that's way
to be as
better.
decisive as he needed.
That's
and
way better
hopefully
than the two
salvage the
system.
situation. This all-powerful position in Rome's government had a name: dictator. It's actually where we get the word.
The
But
more you
unlike
know.
modern dictators, Roman ones didn't score perfect rounds of golf or ride bears through the Siberian tundra. They held their power for just 6 months before they were required to give it up. And in Rome's hour
Interesting.
of need, the man chosen to be dictator in 217 BC, one of the most highly esteemed members of the Roman Senate, Fabius Maximus. So how would
Maximus
Fabius,
is
as
such a
dictator,
good name. Maximus. That's a real powerful kind of name.
confront Hannibal? Well, Fabius understood that marching all of Rome's young men straight into a one-man meat grinder was bleeding Rome dry.
So he's got some
Hannibal
sense.
was clearly too dangerous to face head-on in battle. However, he was also stuck in their territory with dwindling manpower and forced to live off the land. It wasn't a sustainable position to be in long-term, and he could only remain there for so long.
Makes
So,
sense.
if Rome avoided battle with Hannibal to prevent any more crippling losses, and instead simply maneuvered around him, blocking supplies and taking out smaller contingents where possible, Hannibal would gradually become weaker.
it's
while
good
they
logic.
would gradually become
Might take longer than 6 months, though.
stronger. And so Fabius presented his new idea to the Roman Senate. Okay, guys, I have an idea. See if you can follow me here, okay? Instead of fighting Hannibal, when he approaches, we run away.
Not really the Roman mindset, is it? Yeah, not really in that culture.
Fabius's strategy couldn't have been any less Roman. Romans were meant to march headfirst.
It's a good
into
strategy,
battle, not
though.
run away from it. It seemed cowardly, and Fabius was extremely unpopular. At this point, Hannibal was continuing south. He had to stay on the move to keep his army fed, and he was still aiming to undermine Rome's alliances in the south. As he went, in a calculated display of aggression, he devastated the Roman countryside and killed many Romans, all in plain sight of Fabius and his army.
Oh, he's trying to
You're
rage
just
bait
gonna
them.
stand here? Yes. Are you a coward? No. But Fabius, that's my farm. Well, MacDonald, thank you for your sacrifice. You're a hero now. Think of the stories you'll tell. Old MacDonald had a farm.
Aww.
Shut up. But you know who else hated Fabius's strategy?
Probably the
Hannibal.
people.
He
Ah,
understood
I was gonna say probably the people are being killed. But yeah, Hannibal probably is like, this is what they should be doing.
the danger he was in. Turning Rome's allies against her required Hannibal to keep smashing the Romans in battle. He couldn't
It
do
counts
that
my
if
turn
Fabius
again.
wouldn't fight him. Multiple times, Hannibal tried to goad Fabius into a fight, but Fabius wouldn't bite. Failing that, he tried to turn Rome against Fabius. According to the writer Livy, he burned down all the farms he could, but any farm he learned was owned by Fabius himself. He left well alone. Hey, Fabius, why isn't he burning down your farm?
He really is a professional rage baiter. But again, kinda desperate. Everything he's trying, Fabius is not responding. I wonder if there's something he can do where Fabius has to respond at this
You
point.
got some sort of a secret deal with him? What? Of course not. Hey, Hannibal! What? Burn my farm too, please! What? Burn my farm too, please! No! Remember our secret deal! Well, you gotta admit, he's a genius. Hannibal's problem, however, was that he had to stay on the move to keep supplying his army from the local lands. At one point, he entered Campania, one of the richest regions of Italy. Great for resupplying, and great for showing up Fabius in front of Rome's South Italian allies. But he was caught in a valley, and Fabius quickly moved.
It said, why aren't you stopping him in Capua? My big head is covering it a little. Yeah.
To block his escapes.
Interesting. But then you're gonna have to fight.
Supplies,
or it's like a siege, but in a valley.
Sir, what are all those lights leaving the valley? Is he trying to escape? Lights in plain view. Well, that's a trap if I've ever seen one. And we're falling.
Oh my gosh.
Trap, Fabius
Why?
refused to budge. But other Romans in the valley rushed to confront Hannibal, only to find the Carthaginian army was actually just a herd of oxen with torches tied to their heads.
That
They
is
then
some
found
Looney Tunes
themselves
kind of
in an
BS.
ambush. With the Romans distracted, Hannibal's army
Imagine
was able
thinking
to
about
slip
that.
away into the night, unopposed. Classic Hannibal. For all his inaction, the dissatisfied Romans mockingly dubbed him Fabius the Delayer. But the thing is, Fabius's strategy was probably the best thing he could have done. He was right that constant encounters with Hannibal were bleeding Rome dry, and the time he took allowed Rome some breathing room to recover their forces when they desperately needed to, while putting Hannibal into an increasingly more difficult position. Modern historians view Fabius's strategy as generally a good idea.
Yeah, not bad.
To this day, the act of not engaging an enemy, but instead gradually wearing them down, is still referred to as the Fabian strategy.
Really? That's really interesting. Wow, imagine having something like this named after you. That would be crazy.
But when Fabius's term finally came to an end, the Senate couldn't have been happier. It was time to start fighting again. However, they probably had a little chat about how they were going to go about it. See, Hannibal's tactics up until now had been very sneaky. Or, if you're a Roman, you might say dishonorable.
Not
I'm
Roman
sick of
culture.
it. Every time we try to take this guy down, we march straight at him. But then, oh no, Hannibal's hiding in a bush. Hannibal's got 30,000 men up a tree. At this point, I'm not convinced my wife isn't just Hannibal wearing a disguise. Cooey. Look, this time, we obviously have to switch something up. Now granted, we're Roman, so we're gonna march straight at him without thinking. That can't be helped. It's in our blood. But I have a proposition.
Maybe stop walking headfirst into traps. If you're gonna march straight, maybe not straight into traps. That's a good start.
This time, when we march straight at him, we do it with a massive army.
Wow.
80,000 men.
There's a lot of men who are gonna die.
Shenanigans he pulls. He can hide in all the bushes he wants. There's no way he can possibly beat off 80,000 men.
Challenge accepted.
Grow up! You know what I mean? And so it was. With 2 new consuls, Rome put together a massive army.
Paulus
The
looks
biggest
half
Rome had
asleep.
ever
Wake up!
fielded
Wake
to
up!
Put Hannibal away once and for all. To gather the men required, 2/3 of them ended up being completely inexperienced.
Oh,
But how much
geez.
experience does it take to be expendable war fodder?
I was
And
just gonna say that. More fodder for the meat grinder.
this massive army set out in the summer of 216 BC. The Romans knew they needed to win this battle. Just one victory over Hannibal would likely be enough to end his entire campaign. And this time, their overwhelming manpower
Yeah, I guess
gave
if
them
they win, some of the Celts and stuff are gonna switch sides or leave.
Confidence they could do it. Hannibal had taken position at the town of Cannae, where he had captured an important Roman supply depot. With Fabius gone, Hannibal knew a battle was likely coming, and he was eager to fight it on his terms. But when his men looked out at the Roman camp, they couldn't believe what they were seeing. That army's huge! There's no way we can possibly beat off all these men. How are we gonna beat off all of these men? You know what I mean.
There's loads of you can manage.
Hannibal is then said
There's
to
books
have replied,
about this.
Gisco, my friend, don't worry. There may be a lot of them, but amongst their ranks, there's not a single man named Gisco. This joke was apparently so funny that his officers began to laugh and laugh. And when his men in the camp heard the laughter,
That's so
they were
funny.
like, hey, they're laughing. I guess that means we're gonna win the battle.
I guess it's all about
As for the
attitude
Romans,
then.
the consuls
Stop
were
being a
another
go-getter.
pairing between an inexperienced hothead and a wise scholar. Although the main
It's like the same setup as last time. Why is it always like this? Is it on purpose?
historian from this era was good friends with Paulus's family, so take that with a grain of salt.
I
On
see.
his day of command, the rash and hasty Varro, despite the apparent pleas from Paulus, sent the army out for battle. And when Hannibal saw this, he did the same. And here comes the single largest battle of the Second Punic War, and one of the most renowned battles in history, the infamous Battle of Cannae. In all the pre-battle maneuvering, Hannibal was able to ensure his army was fighting from the south. This meant the seasonal dust-carrying winds were to his back and blowing directly into the faces of the Romans.
Interesting.
Like I said, control. After 2 years in Italy, Hannibal's infantry had dwindled to about 40,000. The Romans possibly outnumbered him 2 to
That's
1.
kinda crazy.
Their army was so big that their maniples stretched far deeper.
I imagine it must be really difficult to maneuver this amount of people too, though. That might be a con.
Than they normally would. The Romans planned to charge Hannibal's thin, weak line like a battering ram and break it. They also chose a narrow battlefield in the hopes it would prevent Hannibal's far superior cavalry from being able to outmaneuver them. They wanted an honorable battle where pure strength.
But also, if it's too narrow, you can't really make much use of your numbers if they can't get there. So I guess it wouldn't matter. You just let them kill off the... Like, it is a bit crass, but you just let them kill off the first few rows, and at some point they'll... I guess the Carthaginians run out of people. Maybe that's just the plan.
Rather than trickery would decide the outcome. If Hannibal had his say,
Hannibal
however,
lost trickery.
might end up having a lot to do with it. He ordered his line to position themselves as an outward bulge, with his weakest troops at the very center. Just behind them, out of sight from the Romans, stood the elite Libyan infantry, waiting for their moment to strike. The battle commenced as the massive Roman troops smashed into the Carthaginian center. The shape of Hannibal's line ensured the overwhelming weight of the Romans hit his weakest troops first, and they were pushed back. Hannibal's outward bulge reversed inward, with the Romans being funneled in towards the weak
and then
center.
they end up kind of
Hannibal
being
had positioned
surrounded.
himself at the center to encourage the troops to hold out as long as possible against the Roman onslaught. Because while the Romans were unleashing carnage on the center, Hannibal's cavalry needed time to do their job.
So
the
the-
heavy cavalry on the left,
So then the narrow shape doesn't matter too much. They can still get around.
after a barbaric fight, sent the Roman horse packing, with the consul Paulus even sustaining a severe head injury. He managed to move into the center to keep the battle going. Then, the heavy cavalry turned and approached Varro's cavalry from behind.
That's what they were trying
At
to
the
avoid.
first sight of the coming Carthaginian envelopment, Varro ordered his horsemen to flee the battlefield. The Carthaginians
Not very
had
Roman of
won
you.
the cavalry battle. But back in the center, according to some accounts, Hannibal's line did eventually end up caving to the massive weight of the Romans, and they began to flee. The Romans pushed deeper, and organization within the army likely broke down as they became a giant mass, trying to massacre the fleeing Carthaginians.
Jeez, what a mess.
They didn't realize that they were playing right into
I
Hannibal's
guess the
hands.
cavalry's gonna double back
That
now?
moment, Hannibal's elite units, having done no fighting yet, and therefore fresh as a daisy, turned and smashed into the Roman sides. Many of these troops were wearing Roman helmets and armor they had picked up after previous battles. And the
disguise.
confused Romans may not have even realized they were the enemy. As
There's also so many people, you can't like keep track of who's who.
Hannibal managed to regain the composure of his center and encourage them back into the fight, the Carthaginian cavalry swooped in from behind.
That's what I was saying.
And look at what lies before you.
It's a
military
buffet.
General's wet dream, the total encirclement.
Okay, that's not what I was saying. But it's an all-you-can-eat Roman buffet.
Force by a much smaller force. The Romans were trapped. Hannibal had unbelievably managed to use their own superiority in numbers against them. Rather than simply encircling them, he had actually allowed them to use their own immense power and push themselves into an encircled position. This was the genius of
That's
Cannae.
really smart.
And with that, the annihilation began. For hours, the Carthaginians slaughtered the helpless Romans from all sides. The terrified Romans were so tightly
you
packed
can't go
that
anywhere.
at times they couldn't even lift their arms to defend themselves. The killing went on so long that the Carthaginians became exhausted from the non-stop massacre. And by the time the butchery came to an end, the grim toll spoke for itself. To Hannibal's several thousand lost, the Romans
that's not
suffered
too bad.
60 to
Jeez.
80,000 dead or captured.
That's
Yet
so horrible. I mean, obviously I admire the military genius of making that work, but this amount of people dead is just unimaginable.
another entire army
That's
wiped
so
out
many
by
people.
Hannibal. Many high-ranking Romans met their end at Cannae. Paulus, for one, but also 80 senators and more. It's been estimated that 20% of
Jeez.
Rome's male population, aged 18 to 50, died at Cannae.
That's insane.
This
That's
was it.
devastating.
Hannibal's vengeance. The stunned Carthaginians, as they searched for their own survivors among the dead, couldn't believe the sight of it. An estimated 30,000 gallons of blood now lay spilled on the battlefield. Rome's defeat at Cannae sent shockwaves throughout Italy, just as Hannibal had hoped.
I mean, that would be... Imagine being in a country where 20% of your young men have just died. That must be so incredibly
Most of
demoralizing.
southern Italy now defected to his side, including the second largest city on the peninsula. Wow. Hannibal, this is incredible. What could possibly come next? Next? Jim Bob. I've killed 150,000 Romans. I've turned her allies against her. That's it. That's vengeance. So let me tell you what comes next. Rome surrenders. Their territories are reduced.
Okay.
We recover our lost islands.
I have a feeling it's not gonna be that
And
easy.
Carthage
There's a last video that's even longer than this one.
dominates the Mediterranean once again. But sir, what if they don't surrender?
Not the Roman
Jim Bob,
mindset.
Did you miss what just happened? Of course they're gonna surrender.
Hmm.
Throughout his campaign, Hannibal had shown himself to be very adept at reading the Roman mind. But if he now thought that Rome might surrender, it was the first time he severely
Romans
underestimated
never
them.
give up.
And he was about to discover an extremely inconvenient fact about Rome. Rome never surrenders. At a Roman survivors' camp near Cannae, one young officer overheard some troops discussing how they would flee Rome. Drawing his sword, he threatened to cut down any man that would abandon Rome in its hour of need. That officer was Scipio the Younger.
It's
But soon
convenient.
enough, the
It's convenient. They all have the same name. It's easier for me to remember.
Romans would come to call him Scipio Africanus, the hero of Rome.
It's a good name. Oh my gosh, this is so cute. The last one's gonna be crazy. I can already tell. It's almost an hour long. I can't wait to watch it. Let's watch it together soon, okay? Thank you for enjoying this series with me. I'll see you guys soon. And of course, as always, if you enjoyed the video, say one.